Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios. I want to tell you this is episode number 88, but then I have to play this as well.
Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again.
We are going to a bowl game. How about that? Trace and Jason are here. Trace, what do you think?
I think the Knightline podcast has also become bowl eligible. Wow, what a turnaround from 0-12 to now 6-4 following UCF's 24-3 victory over Cincinnati.
There were not a lot of people that thought that this was even possible. I still need to go back and look at that episode where we made our predictions for the at the beginning of the season.
We thought best case scenario
I think I said 4 wins.
4, 5, 6. Jeez,
I think I said 4 wins, and that is we're 2 past that, and how unbelievable!
Dominating defensive performance by the Knights, absolute shutdown of Cincinnati, and now a big prime time Saturday night finale, senior day against Tulsa. And now you're playing with house money. Any more wins is just more gravy for this season.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the guy that says that I think we've got a lot of work to do to beat Tulsa.
They are a talented team. They light up the scoreboard, but they haven't faced our defense yet.
So you're going to be the half glass full guy like you always are. I'm going to be the half glass empty guy.
I believe in this defense.
Jason,
I'm in the middle. But it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I'm excited for that to be 8 o'clock game next Saturday night at home. It is senior day, so that's going to help out, maybe inspire the seniors one last time at the Bright House.
Absolutely.
But this defense, 6th in the red zone, 28th in scoring, 10th in pass efficiency.
Easy for you to say.
But nevertheless, that's impressive, and that is something we haven't seen in a while.
Efficiency, I think you're trying to say. That's funny.
He's overcome with bowl eligibility. Yeah.
Absolutely.
On a beautiful day for football, Military Appreciation Day. I love me a good flyover. We got a very low plane. That plane came in low, didn't it?
I got great video of it because it came right over the top of my head.
Love that. The helmets. UCF got a shout-out on ESPN in the college football show in the morning. They showed the helmet. They talked about Rory Coleman
on game day,
on the game day show in the morning. Yeah, they talked about Rory Coleman, who made national headlines, the Purple Heart recipient, who came out with a flag for UCF. And boy, there've been a lot of compelling stories this year. Rory Coleman, just the latest, and once again, Shaquem Griffin making headlines in this game. He
one of
is
the absolute
just
best,
inspiring.
Yeah, one of the absolute best players in college football, believe it or not. He is absolutely one of the best players, period.
Still 2 games to go.
And we talked to Kyle Israel later on about that as well. That will be something that y'all can look forward to coming up.
Still 2 games to go. Home, Tulsa, on the road, rivalry game in Tampa. So no clue yet where UCF might play in a bowl game, the 8th bowl game in UCF football history. And as Kyle well remembers, this is once again going from winless to bowl. UCF has a penchant for doing that. I'd like this to be the last time they have to do that, though.
Yeah, don't ever want to do it 0-12 again. I got a couple sound clips here. Let's play, first of all, head coach Scott Frost, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
My statement's simple. I'm happy for our players. I told them you don't get much in this life that you don't earn, and they've earned the success they have with all the work that they put in and with believing in what we were asking them to do and taking care of one another. It's a big-time accomplishment for them, and I look forward to coaching them maybe 3 more times. I think the key to the turnaround was the players' attitude. They were hungry to have somebody lead them and show them a new way. Not that the old way was bad, because they won a lot of games around here before. But I think after a tough season, they were just hungry for a new direction. And because of that, they bought into everything we were asking them to do. And it's their work ethic and their character that's gotten us here. Mackenzie gets better every week. I thought he played more like a veteran today. He knew when to throw it away. He knew when to pull it, when to made the right decisions today. Realistically, asking him to do what he's done as an 18-year-old is amazing. There's not many guys that can do that. If we keep him from sailing 1 or 2 balls high every game, we can't ask him to do much more.
That leads us to talking a little bit about Mackenzie Milton. Mackenzie had, honestly, a really good game, and I don't think a lot of people really realized how good of a game that he did because it wasn't a totally complete game, I guess. He threw 1 touchdown, but he threw 13 passes, and we talk a little bit later, obviously, with Kyle Israel about this, but he threw 13 passes in a row and completed those 13 in a row, and that's a big, big deal, especially because, we've been, kind of worried about, him making completions and running around and, all the stuff that he does. Doesn't always look that great, but statistically, he's doing pretty good. He didn't throw the ball away, throw interceptions, I mean. You got to give it to him for having a great game. And there were people in the stands around me that were like chanting for Holman, and I'm like, you people don't understand. He's having a great game.
Yeah,
it may not seem like it, but he really is having a great game.
Back to glass half full. They are 6-4 and bowl eligible
with a true freshman quarterback.
With a true freshman quarterback,
Absolutely.
A brand new head coach coming off an 0-12 season. He's still learning. Brighter days lie ahead for one Mackenzie Milton, and he limited mistakes. Again,
Absolutely.
You think back to the game against Maryland, his debut. We talk all the time right now about, we could have won the Temple game, right? We could have won the Maryland. There were 6 fumbles for Mackenzie and lost a couple of those, and he's limiting mistakes. Balanced attack. Yeah, do we want to see 400, 500, 600 yards? I guess. Sure.
Of course,
You know what I want to see?
but-
24-3, 6-4, home win.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see on a beautiful day for football, on a Military Appreciation Day, and we had up on the big scoreboard, bowl-bound, back where we belong, which, by the way, is the 7 of the past 10 years UCF has been bowl eligible.
Absolutely.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
So we're going to nitpick Mackenzie. Is his footwork off a little bit? Sure. Is he sailed some paths? Yes. They won the game.
No other quarterback on our roster can do the things that Mackenzie Milton does, period. He made an incredible pass to Snelson for that touchdown. I mean,
Just a dart.
absolutely
Had to throw a dart.
Incredible pass that could have been picked off and all kinds of things. It was a perfect throw across his body running to the left. Like, that's a big deal.
And we've got a high-flying Tulsa team that comes to town, having lost to Navy 42-40, right? So if you were at that game, you saw 82 points of football at Navy, right? But if you're Tulsa, you're on the losing end of that. I'd rather be on the winning end of 24-3 and becoming bowl eligible. Can we outscore Tulsa 42-40? I don't think we can outscore Tulsa 42-40.
Well,
but can we limit Tulsa?
I think
we can limit
I think
Tulsa
we can
offensively.
limit them.
Yeah.
And Shaquem Griffin and our defense, I believe, will play a huge part in that game. And so, sets it up perfect. Let's hear from Shaquem about being bowl eligible.
It was crazy. I came in the locker room last, and just to see everybody just turning up, it was crazy. I mean, like you said before, come from 0-12 to a bowl game, that's proving doubters wrong. They said we couldn't do it, so that's what we did. We did it.
I love that attitude. They said we couldn't do it, so we did it. And that's
Enough said right there.
Shaquem, that's his thing. A lot of people said that he can't do what he's doing right now, and he goes out there and does it. It's
Proves
awesome.
it every week. Leads the American in sacks, 11th in the nation. Overall, boy, defense, special teams play. How about the blocked punt that results in a touchdown? That's what you want to see your team do and get better as we move along week to week. And, I like our chances. Early line out, by the way. Tulsa, a 3-point favorite on the road at UCF.
Only 3?
3.
Wow.
3.
I really expected it to be a lot more than that because of all the points that they score.
So I think that's confidence in coming into allowed. Our fan base does respond to night games typically, and they will be fired up for this one.
Well, if you're listening to this and you live in Orlando or anywhere close to Orlando, you better be at that game.
And get there a little bit early because you get to see those seniors. And I always like showing up early there and seeing the seniors come out, and we'll
There's
have a number
all kinds
of
of
them.
stuff that they do before the games, and there's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work into all that stuff. So we need to be there. I'm shocked that our attendance is what it is.
30,346 announced.
There was nowhere near
Announced.
30,000 people there. There was nowhere near, maybe 25.
It did not look good on TV.
No, it looked horrible on TV.
Yeah,
And
not
I'm
good on
just,
TV.
I don't understand how it gets that way, to be honest with you. It was a beautiful day. Like you said, it was Veterans, weekend. I don't understand. So please, people, I don't think most of the people that we're talking to on this
Yeah,
are the
probably
people
right.
that we need to really be saying that to. So don't get
Everybody
me wrong.
listening going, I was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. But I just,
And
I,
the folks
I feel
listening
that I
feel the
need
same
to-
way, right?
Yeah.
I think they all feel
Oh,
the same.
absolutely.
We want to see more bodies there.
Yeah, I feel, that they probably know that. So I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to the people that may be new listeners or whatever.
If you're listening, tell your friends to come.
Absolutely.
'Cause
Bring
the
a
listener-
friend.
yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe UCF needs to have a bring a friend day. Or bring your pet to the game or something. I don't know. Something.
Which one would you choose?
I would bring my pet.
Which one?
Which one of my pets?
You have a menagerie.
Well,
over.
yeah. We have a little zoo.
You trade animals with the Sanford Zoo.
It's just down the street. Anyway, all right, let's hear from Mackenzie as well. I want to hear from Mackenzie on being bowl eligible because he wasn't here last year, but he has something to say about it.
Definitely a big accomplishment for our program, considering where we came from last year. And even though I wasn't not here last year, but I still feel like I was a part of it because I've been growing with these guys from the summertime. Been working with them, with the seniors, all the upperclassmen, and what they went through that last year to get to this point is a big accomplishment for us.
All right, so the other thing we've talked about it a couple times was Veterans Day. The whole Veterans Day thing, the helmets were awesome. I just saw on my phone that they're selling those for $850. If you have $850 laying around and you want one of those helmets, they're for sale on the
They
UCF
make great
app.
stocking stuffers.
Absolutely. You can. Why don't you buy Knightline Podcast one of those? We would love to have one of those. No, don't, because
No, do. Yeah, I'll take it. It can sit on my mantle.
yeah, it would be, if I had the money, I would buy one because I thought they were incredible. But let's hear from Mackenzie Milton once more, and this is about what he thought about playing, that game for veterans and all that.
It was awesome. It kind of reminds you of that there's so much bigger than football, I guess, is the way I put it, and that what those folks do for us to just be able to be in this position to not pay for school and just play the game that we love and basically have no worries. I mean, it kind of makes you reflect and not take the game for granted.
Obviously, this kid has a good head on his shoulders, so obviously. He picked UCF. He's playing, great. We're winning, and that had to be special. I would think that was special for all of them to play with the military logos on their helmets and everything else. So great job by UCF for doing that and everything else.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't, check out the feature. UCFKnights.com has it on defensive player Rory Coleman, the lineman. Army veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and a walk-on for the team. And he's a great story and really just brings home all that is the appreciation for the sacrifice made by the men and women who serve us in the various branches of the military.
Thank you. For everybody who's served and is still serving that. If you're listening to this, I know that we've got a lot of international listeners, and I hope that some of you guys are having a chance to listen to this. If you are, thank you very much. You have been looking quite a bit into the bowl game situation.
I'm obsessed with this bowl game
Tell us
thing.
about what you found.
There's some new projections out as we go to record. CBSSports.com says UCF Arkansas State in the Cure Bowl. SBNation.com says UCF Louisiana Lafayette in the Cure Bowl. Both of those schools are Sun Belt schools. And it's something that really Brandon Helwig of UCFSports.com posted a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's interested in that Cure Bowl. Mind you, UCF, if they are stuck at 6-6 and they don't win Tulsa or in Tampa, they look like they line up well for the Cure Bowl, except there are 12 teams in the American. The American has 8 bowl tie-ins. The Cure Bowl in Orlando at Camping World Stadium, formerly Citrus Bowl, is 8th in the pecking order for that. And right now, UCF has become the 7th bowl-eligible team. The only 2 that look likely to get there also would be either Cincinnati or SMU. And if you look at their remaining games, they both have very difficult schedules. unless the Cure Bowl and the American Conference cut some sort of side deal, which I suppose is possible. The Cure Bowl doesn't get to pick UCF. The 7th team in that pecking order, which is either the Miami Beach Bowl, which is at the Marlins Stadium. It's a 2:30 start on a Monday,
That's
where the Cure
horrible.
Bowl is a night game on a Saturday.
In Orlando.
Yes, in Orlando.
At
Very
the Citrus
excited.
Bowl,
Yeah.
where UCF played for so many
many
years. I mean, it would be a perfect situation, and I hope that somehow they can figure that out. I don't know if it's possible, but
Mind you, one more win, and they're going to move up into one of those other bowls anyway, right? So your bowls that they are going to go to will either be St. Pete, Boca Raton Bowl, at Florida Atlantic plays, Miami Beach, where the Marlins are, Cure, or the Bahamas Bowl. That's where they're going to be. There's one in Texas. Navy's committed to one, the Armed Forces Bowl up north. So that's going to be one of those 5 bowls, and then they move from that December 17th, and there's a game on the 19th, the 20th. So winning moves us out of the Cure Bowl. But not winning another game doesn't necessarily mean without some other schools doing something.
it would be great for the players to be able to go to a destination
Yes, for them,
bowl game,
certainly.
for especially like the Bahamas Bowl.
Yep.
That would be super cool. I went to Hawaii 2 years of my 4 years playing football for the Hula Bowl.
Hula Bowl.
It was the Hula Bowl. Now it's something else, I think, the Hawaii Bowl or whatever. But
Well, here's who SMU's got. SMU's 5-5. They have 2 home games to end the season: South Florida and Navy. Jeez,
their chances are not very good.
their chances are not very good of winning one of those 2,
Right.
and that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then Cincinnati, they're done for. I'll look them up.
That would
while
get us in that 8th spot.
Yeah.
Or there would be 8 teams then, so we would have more of a chance.
I'm not really rooting. I mean, I want us to finish 8-4.
Yeah,
I'd
right.
love to see us somehow find our way into that title game by stealing the East. So,
I think it would be extremely special, though, if we could play in that Cure Bowl at home, basically at home.
and then here's Cincinnati, which is the most lackluster team. They played 3 quarterbacks Saturday. They play Memphis at home, and then at Tulsa.
Yeah.
Did you think a team that, by the way, has now gone 10 quarters, back to crediting the defense, they held them without a touchdown. Cincinnati's gone 10 quarters without scoring. They're going to go to Tulsa and
They've got
outscore
problems
Tulsa.
there.
They're not doing that.
They have big problems there in Cincinnati. And
So, they're bowl bound. Don't know where.
They may have a new coach soon.
Don't know
I
when.
think there's
Tuberville? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he may be on his way out with all the stuff that's been going on with him and calling out fans and all that
Get a
stuff.
job.
So yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I was behind the Cincinnati bench with friends, and we kept yelling out, "Get a job!"
Did you?
To Tuberville.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome. All right. Well, let's get on with this thing, and we will. I think everybody wants to hear from Kyle Israel.
Yeah, got
about
Kyle
what's
Israel,
going on.
and we've got a preview of men's basketball coming up. We're going to take a little bit look at the Knights, and so stay with us for those.
There are so many ways to connect with Knightline. You can like us on Facebook at Knightline Podcast or follow us on Twitter at UCF_Knightline. Check out our website at www.ucfnightlinepodcast.com for recruit spotlights, archived episodes, and more. Or, of course, you can always call us at 407-401-9184. That's 407-401-9184. Listen whenever and wherever you are on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, or TuneIn. Go Knights and charge on!
Welcome to Inside the Huddle with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, brought to you by the Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. Waterford Lakes, 855 North Althea Trail, Orlando.
Let's look at the latest game through the eyes of former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, who's stopping by Knightline to talk about the Cincinnati game. Kyle, 2 words: bowl eligible.
Yeah, that's those are 2 great words, especially coming off obviously the 2015 campaign where we didn't even have a victory, obviously, and that makes me think back to 2004 and 2005, the last time that we went 0-11 in 2004, and then in 2005 came back, went 8-5, made it to the Conference USA Championship game, and then obviously played out in Hawaii. And so now UCF has done that 2 times in their history. Obviously, that's not exactly what you want to be known for, but the rebound from where we were the year before in both of those circumstances is obviously phenomenal, and you got to give a lot of credit, I think, to some of the veterans and leaders on the football team, and obviously Coach Frost and his staff, but it goes all the way up to Danny White and Dr. Hidd and everything that they did at the end of last offseason to kind of, get Coach Frost and get a recruiting class and put it all together. When you think about the guys that scored touchdowns on offense yesterday, Juwan Hamilton, Dredrick Snelson, Mackenzie Milton, obviously throwing one of those are all true freshmen. To rebound that way and to get bowl eligible is a great, great reward for the hard work that everybody at the university has put in. I think it's a huge deal, although, we could have had a better season, in some of those games. You can look at that. But at the same time, this is phenomenal for these guys to get to experience this.
So, Kyle, the thing that I want to talk to you about is what you thought of Mackenzie Milton's performance in this game. It looked like a great improvement in the first part of the game, but maybe the second half may have regressed a little bit.
I think Mackenzie was extremely consistent. Consistency is obviously, if I'm a quarterback, that's a word I want somebody to use to describe the way that I played in the game. Consistency means not turning the ball over. He did not turn the football over yesterday with interceptions. He made a couple good first down runs. I thought that he did a good job of doing what the coaching staff was clearly asking him to do. With some of those underneath routes and some of those sit routes, being able to read the flat defender and figuring out the zone coverage and hitting Traquan Smith there, and then the throw that he made rolling to his left and hitting Dredrick Snelson in a very, very tight window, not only from the defender but from the sideline. He had to put that on the money and kind of contort his body to make that throw. I think those are some of the special things that he can do. That is not, it may not look like a big stat line 2 or 3 yard touchdown throw, but the fact that he was rolling to the left and the fact that he had the athletic ability to kind of flip his arm out there and make that throw in tight space with velocity is that's a big-time throw in my opinion. And so I think that with his performance yesterday, that's exactly what you need. Let your defense keep you in the football game. Don't turn the ball over. We've been able to create scoring opportunities in all facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, and we were able to do that again yesterday. And so, I think that is what you need out of him. And, the flashy thing is always kind of like the baseball analogy to me that I always used to hear, try to hit line drives and the home runs will come. Try to hit line drives and the home runs will come. And I think that's kind of how he needs to approach, the rest of the season is, just try to make first downs. Like, get first downs, and take what the defense gives you, and the big plays will come. And I think that if he continues to do that, and I think have that mindset, that'll pay off for him. So I was happy for him. I know that's probably a nice confidence booster. And although it wasn't the most electric game and electric stat line, I think that his play certainly, helped us get the victory yesterday.
Continuing with that theme, you get the sense that Scott Frost is relying upon a senior-heavy defense to give time for the offense to build confidence in the emergence of these freshmen. You don't want to see UCF have to win a game against a high-flying offense like Tulsa, like Navy did, 42-40. We may not be there offensively to win that kind of game. The defense is critical coming up against Tulsa.
Yeah, it is. And Tulsa's a very good football team, I think dangerously good, a team that until recently has kind of flied under the radar. And in this conference, everybody knows that they've been playing well. But I think that your defense has to keep you in the football game, obviously. We are not at the capacity as far as scoring goes offensively right now, to play a game like that. So I think for us to beat Tulsa, I think for us to beat South Florida, we're going to have to create turnovers. We're going to have to win the turnover possession. When we're going to need to capitalize, on red zone efficiency. We're really going to have to convert on third downs. I mean, you got to play good football to beat those type of teams that can score like that. And offensively, we haven't. The biggest kind of hole in our offensive game right now that I see, and I'm not sure that I ever saw this a lot with Oregon in the first place, even with a guy like Marcus Mariota, is the vertical passing game. And when you watch our games, you don't really see many balls down the field. We try to hit one to Akins down the middle of the field. Even if he caught it, it wouldn't have counted. because of the linemen down the field. But I'd like to see if we can work on getting the football down the field and taking some shots, because I think that's how you're going to create scoring opportunities. Trylko Smith is a great receiver. And then I think that we need to try to really find ways to get Adrian Killens the ball some more in the sweeps and bubble screen and tunnel screen type of games. But you're going to have to get creative offensively to create some points, and you're going to have some guys make some big plays. And so right now you got to lean on the defense, and why not? I mean, they've been playing absolutely out of their minds, phenomenal, so impressed, and certainly I think that the team understands that the defense kind of leads that group right now.
Well, on this point now about the need for that vertical passing game, do you get the sense that they're being conservative because that's what the capacity of McKenzie and this team is on that playbook right now, that they can do what they can do, but that kind of high-flying offense, they're just not there yet?
Well, I mean, I think that there's plays that in any offense, whether you're a high-flying team that throws the ball all over the field, or whether you're a conventional Stanford type of team that, you know, gets 2 tight ends in the game, most teams still take shots down the field. And I just don't – I think that it's for sure in our playbook, and we've seen some of those this year. But some of it could be game plan. A lot of times it has to do with what the defense is giving you, and do you get one-on-one matchups outside with Trylko Smith? Because you don't want to just be throwing deep balls into, you know, deep zone coverage. That's not going to work. So part of it is what the defense allows, and then part of it is kind of letting McKenzie grow into that style of offense. You know, right now I think they're being a little bit conservative, and as he continues to grow and that chemistry builds with some of the receivers, I think we'll see more of it. But it's one of those things that's going to create, you know, big-time scoring plays or big-time first down with pass interferences, et cetera, and you'd hope to see us get there at some point. But nonetheless, you know, those are high-risk, high-reward type of plays that can turn into interceptions, and so we're trying to avoid turnovers right now, and you know, that shows with some of the play callings.
I want you to talk a little bit about the screen pass, because you mentioned the screen pass earlier and getting it, you know, you mentioned a bunch of different screen passes. So talk to us a little bit about why the screen pass works so well and its design to work so well when it's completed. It either works really well or it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, and you know, my screen knowledge has really grown in the last 3 or 4 years from some of the offenses that I played in Europe that were much more spread, much more similar to what we see with our team this year, and very, very different than what I was playing in when I was at UCF, which was more pro style. And so I was always used to the screens where you kind of, you know, take 5-step drop, let the offensive line, let the defenses come at you, they release, and then you just pop it off to the back, you know, at the line of scrimmage as you kind of fade away. But I was exposed to a different type of screen game, and I've seen it with some of our offenses in our offense, which is the option screen game. So you'll see McKenzie look out to the right or left, and based on an indicator, whether the defensive end, he'll have a back coming out of the backfield, and whether the defensive end is coming towards him or towards the back, if he's covering the back, he'll flip back around to the other side of the field and maybe hit Trylko Smith or you know, Jawan Hamilton or Killens on an inside tunnel screen. But the reason that it is so effective is that when a team is trying to pressure and a team is trying to stop the run, which we're obviously more dominant in the running style that we have than we are in our passing style. So teams, you know, try to put some pressure on us, and so you're just kind of baiting the defense into it. And I think that the screen game certainly has evolved to where now you're using the screen as a run. So you see the diamond formation that we had yesterday. We ran it a lot. We had no wide receivers to one side of the field and 3 wide receivers kind of in a triangle to the other side of the field. And basically what that is an extended run. It's like an Oklahoma drill or an inside run drill where you have linebacker, a fullback, and a lineman and D lineman and a running back and a safety, and you're just kind of running right at each other, and it's 3-on-3. And so that type of screen game just allows you to extend the running game if teams are filling the box, and we were able to do that yesterday. Sometimes Taylor Oldham caught it and got up and got 7-8 yards. Sometimes Adrian Killens caught the ball, got 7-8 yards. It's a way for us, you know, to spread the defense out and get different guys the ball in their hand. And so the screen game can be everywhere. We've run the bubble screen where we're trying to block the outside linebacker and get around the edge. I think it's something in this age of football that really confuse defenses, doesn't allow them to just stack the box and defend the run, and really forces them to play out in space. And when you have speed, and that's what we're trying to build here, the screen game can be phenomenal.
Being a part of the podcast, I watch our games differently now. I take notes and I pay attention in a different way. Do you find that you watch UCF games differently than you might watch an NFL game or another college game, or are you always looking at it through the eyes of a quarterback?
A lot of it depends on the atmosphere that I'm in at the time. If I'm at home, I think that I always break it down. I think I'm always critical of players a little bit in regards to really watching what they're doing and the decisions that they're making. But a UCF game, I do watch it still like a player. And obviously it was a lot more fun for me in the first 4 to 5 years that I graduated, because I still could watch the signals on the sideline and I knew every play that was going into the game and what we were about to run. For anybody who was sitting next to me in the stands that didn't know I was a player formerly, I probably could have won so much money betting people what the next play was going to be because I knew what it was every single time. And so that was really fun for me to really have a good idea of what I was analyzing and what I was seeing, because I could still look at coverages and linebacker positions and where we should be going with the football. It's different now, obviously, and it's really hard. It's much easier, guys, and I think this is one of the reasons that, maybe some game attendance and other things has diminished at the NFL level and even at the college level, is when a game's on TV, it's much easier to analyze. You get commentators talking to you, you get all type of replays, second looks at things, and better angles than you do in a stadium. In a stadium, it's sometimes just very difficult to kind of keep up and keep a log of what's been happening if you're not taking notes. But I think that I'm still always on some level evaluating it like a former player, but other times, if I'm out with friends or out to dinner, I'm obviously just going to kind of be interested in what the score is.
Hey, so he's definitely gotten a little bit better, but going back to McKenzie, it still appears that he's throwing the ball a little high on the screen passes, or any pass for that matter. Mm-hmm. How does a quarterback like a freshman like him work on that? Is it more of an off-season thing, or can he kind of improve upon that week to week?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. A lot of it can be footwork and mechanic, and that can be worked on during the season. It can be a point of emphasis throughout the course of a week, but you're probably not going to see a full change in somebody's mechanics throughout the course of the season. I think that's something in the off season that he's going to need to work on with his footwork, with his mechanics, with his delivery. Some of it is that he's 5'10" and has a different arm angle sometimes to get the ball down the field or out to the sideline, thrown over a tackle or rushing defensive end, and the ball sails, because if you're 6'3" and have that trajectory where you can throw the ball, kind of on a line, compared to 5'10", where your launch point of the football out of your hand is 4 inches lower than where it would be for somebody that's 6'2" or 6'3", you're going to have a more higher trajectory when it leaves your hand, and if you can't control that, or you haven't learned how to control that, then the ball's going to sail on you. So I think it's something he's got to work on in the off season, and certainly in like a spring practice, in a fall camp where he's really working at throwing in through lanes. Russell Wilson and Drew Brees, you watch these guys throw, they're not just throwing up the back of an offensive lineman. They're moving their feet in the pocket and creating a throwing lane in the gaps that are created in the line of scrimmage. And I think as McKenzie gets more reps and there's more of an emphasis on that, he'll be able to figure out how to throw through those lanes, because I guarantee you out there in Hawaii, there's some big boys out there, but it was nothing like height-wise what you see in and game out. And really, even if you're 6'2" and 6'3", you still got to find throwing lanes, because you're throwing over guys that are 6'4", 6'5", and 6'6" anyways. And so that's part of the game that has to evolve kind of for him, and all of that stems back to some of these high balls.
I'm not sure if we already talked about this. I know we talked about it before we started recording this, but how big of a deal was it for him to complete the 13 passes in a row? It seems like on the TV broadcast and everything, they made a really big deal about that. Is that a really big thing for him to do that?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I almost wanted to ask you if that's a serious question, Andrew. 13 completions for anybody. I mean, even if you go into an NFL game and you're listening to a game and somebody like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady completes the last 13 out of the last 13, they're definitely saying something about it. And so I think on multiple levels, number one, for the confidence of the offense as a whole, a 13 for 13 streak is important. I back in 2006, I played in a game where I was 19 to 22 and completed 15 or 16 in a row. And that gave me a lot of confidence. That was the last game of the 2006 season at home against UAB, going into the 2007 season. And I think for McKenzie to complete that many balls in a row and to do it in a victory and to do it when it counted. I think those are all great things, and that's a huge accomplishment because that is certainly not easy to do. There's so many factors. Your receiver's got to catch the football. That means the offensive line was protecting you. When a quarterback's able to do that, a lot of things are clicking. It may not result in big plays or big touchdowns, but it's still crucial to the movement of the football down the field.
I ask that question because I'm trying to kind of ask questions that are maybe for people that don't know as much about the game as others do, I guess, to get some learning information, I guess, is why I ask certain questions like that, and I ask about the screen pass and stuff like that. So that's why.
Well, that's definitely why I'm giving you that response, because I'm just trying to make sure that the person that may not understand that clearly understands that that's a huge deal.
Yeah, that's why I ask.
So yeah.
So the other thing is, would think that he had to have a little bit of coaching because, during the week or whatever to enable him to do that, because we haven't seen him be that accurate and that, on the spot, especially like we talked about with that Snelson pass. I mean, that was an incredible pass that I don't think, people realize that how big of a deal that pass that you talked about was, in the first place. So,
Andrew, I think you are right. I think that there's always going to be coaching, and if there's always going to be trying to get better. And sometimes if people don't think that that's happening, if you go out to a practice anywhere, you're going to see that in the course of the season, these guys are getting coached, and they're getting coached hard throughout the course of the week to improve on mistakes from weeks before. However, I think that the Coach Walters and the play calling, for McKenzie in the passing game, they called good plays for him to complete passes, 5 to 7, 5 to 8 yard passes, in the seams and throwing lanes that are easy to read one defender. You're throwing it to Traquan Smith on those little, hitch curl routes at about 7 yards. You're reading a flat defender. You're reading a safety to a flat defender. They're not difficult reads. They're easy progressions, and you just got to stick it on his chest, and you got 7, 8 yards. If he turns and leans forward, he's got a first down. So you got to credit the play calling. I thought that the play calling really helped McKenzie, especially in regards to that 13 for 13 streak. And, now that they kind of know that he can do something like that, then maybe you can expand the playbook. And look, we're 6-6. We're bowl eligible. And we're going against some teams that obviously can score points. So I'm not surprised if you start seeing some of the tricks and things that Coach Walters and Coach Frost have up their sleeve, because they know we're going to have to find a way to create points. We're going to have an 8 o'clock game on Saturday night next week against Tulsa. And I guarantee you that Coach Frost, having secured that bowl that bowl bid, is going to want to do some things to create some offense. And I think this is where we'll start to see our offense open it up some as we're going into these last 2 or 3 games for the season, because there's really nothing to lose at this point. You're out of the conference contention, I believe, and you're going to have to score some points to win.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really, really interesting, couple of games, especially these last 2 conference games. I can't wait, because we're going to have to score a bunch of points against both of these teams. So I think it is going to get very, very interesting, and I cannot wait. It's going to be exciting. All right, so the holidays are coming up. I know you're busy there at the Little Greek. What's going on this week there?
Before we get to that, I just absolutely have to say that Shaquem Griffin is in my top 3 of maybe football players of all time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I walked into my dad's house today, and he's like, I called it 5 weeks ago, Kyle. I knew Shaquem Griffin was special. I love the kid. He's one of my favorite UCF players of all time. I said, Dad, I agree. He's probably, I think, one of my favorite players of all time. Well, I watch him on every single play, and he plays fast, hard, aggressive, smart. Literally, it seems like every single play. And any opportunity that he has to get a one-on-one matchup with an offensive lineman is something that is very difficult to stop. And we got to put so much credit and give so much credit to our defense and our special teams and all these guys that we didn't know about last year that have really filled a lot of these roles and really stepped in to fill shoes that had to be filled. We needed Shaquem Griffin at linebacker. We needed guys out there to make plays, and that defense has to get so much credit. I know we're always going to talk about offense and McKenzie Milton, the quarterback, but right now our defense might as well be our quarterback with the way that they're playing and the energy that they're playing with. As a fan base, we should be really, really excited about what we're seeing, because I know last year, and we talked every single week on the podcast, and it was just like, well, it's another loss, guys, and We just couldn't stop them. They just ran all over us, and we didn't have any energy, and guys didn't look like they wanted to be there, and they've given up. And what is the coaching? I mean, that's where we were 12 months ago. And now we're going to a bowl game, and we have arguably one of the best pass rushers in the country who, oh, by the way, is one of the most inspirational stories in college football right here on our campus. And I was a little bit frustrated that we have this momentum and the turnout, although it was a holiday weekend at 12 o'clock. It was frustrating that was the size of the crowd that we got, but we can make up for that this week with an 8 o'clock game against a really big team, and we have one of the most exciting defenses in the country to watch, which the only thing we talked about going into this season was our offense. And so I'm super excited because of that, because once the offense catches up, if we continue to play with this type of intensity and enthusiasm on defense, we're going to be very hard to stop, and that's really got me excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, Shaquem is something extremely, extremely special. And I think I'm excited for next year with him, to be honest with you, because I think he's even going to be more special next year. And I am appalled and shocked that no one gave him the chance before Scott Frost got here. I don't know why they didn't give him the chance. I don't know. I mean, he must not be doing anything different than he was before. I talk to his dad and his family all the time, and they've said that he's done this his entire life. He's been that type of player. They knew that he was that type of player, and he just did not get the chance to show it. That upsets me, and, whatever. It does. Because I think it was huge...
I'll just focus on the fact that we finally got him out on the field, and we finally gave him an opportunity to show why he's so special. And, Andrew, you've played football, and this has obviously been talked about a lot, but to be able to play the way that he plays, I think he has 10.5 sacks on the year now, with one hand is just remarkable, and I am just in awe watching him play every week.
Yeah, I don't see how he does it. Like, it's the stuff that he does, nobody else does. Nobody else does it. I mean, I don't know of any other one-handed football players. And he's doing incredible things being that. I mean, you cannot look past it. It's just, it's amazing. Imagine if he had both hands, I guess. I mean, really.
It's phenomenal. I just even him and Shaquille wearing both gold socks yesterday were something that I just thought was awesome. It's just everything about those two guys and the inspiration that they bring. They're just great leaders, and they're certainly the type of guys that you want on your football team.
Absolutely. All right, so back to my original question. How's things going at the Little Greek this week?
Things are phenomenal. I had to come in tonight. We've been super, super busy, had so much support from the community, so we are beyond thrilled. We're going to be putting out holiday catering specials on our Facebook page and Instagram here in the next couple of days, so that can be found at facebook.com/Little Greek Fresh Grill. Waterford Lakes, and we're just trying to gear up. I mean, right now, obviously, we're in this location of Waterford and some of our other locations of Celebration and Hunters Creek. Shopping malls are busy this time of year, so we're just trying to stay afloat and provide great customer service and a great product, and really, really do appreciate all the support because we have I had a UCF fan come in here earlier tonight that I was talking about the deep passing game at the Register. And so it's always fun for me to do that. So we've been happy. And again, if anybody is looking for franchise opportunities or know anybody that is, you can find me on Facebook, just Kyle Israel.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again for joining us and having a wonderful conversation with us.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me again. And we're going to a bowl game.
Hello, Knight Nation. This is Tim Baker with East Coast Paddle, owner, operator, and fellow UCF alum. East Coast Paddle is located in Orlando's favorite beach town of New Smyrna Beach. East Coast Paddle is rated by TripAdvisor as the #1 rated water tour activity in New Smyrna. We are most known for our boat-assisted paddleboard eco tours. This is a 2-hour dock-to-dock experience like none other on the island. You'll paddle with manatees, dolphins, and have a chance to see many of the 4,000 species that inhabit our lagoon system. You'll take professional pictures throughout the tour that are sent directly to your email at no additional charge. This is not all we have to offer. Traditional paddleboard rentals delivered to your location, paddle fit classes, and several fishing options. Please reach out to us at 386-402-8585 or visit us at our website, eastcoastpaddle.com, or follow us on Facebook at East Coast Paddle or Instagram at ECPSUP.
Now, back to Knightline with Andrew and Trace.
All right, a couple more weeks to go, especially now with UCF being bowl eligible. We're going to extend this out a little bit for the East Coast Paddle giveaway out of New Smyrna Beach. They're giving away the boat-assisted paddleboard Eco Tour for $210 value, Andrew, as part of its support of the Knightline podcast. Just enter to win, folks, if you haven't done so already. We're going to extend it out past the bowl game. Click on the contest entry form on the left at our website, ucfnightlinepodcast.com. And good luck to you if you should listen to us and enter.
Yeah, definitely sign up for that if you haven't, because we need you to do that, and it's really cool. It's going to be awesome. The other thing that I need people to do, there is a survey that I put on Twitter. I put it on our website. It's there right under the contest entry form. So if you go there to sign up for that, you can also fill out our survey really quick. It's very valuable information for us. We have gotten a lot of great compliments and some not so great compliments. But anyway, we would really, really appreciate it if you did that. It is very, very important to us.
Most of those
to
things
get
were
your,
positive.
They
a couple
were,
of people were, but they weren't negative.
No, they weren't
giving,
negative.
They were giving good constructive things.
Yeah,
no, they were good things.
Yeah, I was...
Yeah,
I
you were
was
just
joking.
Yeah, no, it was good constructive stuff.
Yeah, but it's very important for us to know. We want to make this better. We want to know, what it'll take to make it better for you guys. If you guys didn't listen, then we would be doing this for nothing. We would be doing it for ourselves, to talk to ourselves, I guess. So we want to know what you think and want us to know. So
yeah, what do you want to see us cover more of? Like we're going to be mentioning in a few moments, a little bit of a basketball preview. A lot of good feedback on the insiders when we have them, and then the guests that we bring on. People really love listening to Kyle's breakdown of the game and our banter. And then we've gotten rave reviews for Jason the intern.
Yeah, it's all good. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
We're glad that you're here.
Rave reviews.
Even though we haven't heard much of you.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The UCF freshmen on the football team and covering the football team are something else.
All right. Oh, what's next, Trace?
Well, just to wrap up, remind folks, come out to the game. Final home game. Honor the seniors. 8 o'clock. That was announced late Saturday night, 8 o'clock. This is the final pregame concert series featuring Drake White and the Big Fire Country, whose hits include Simple Life and Livin' the Dream. And Big 10-4 also performed. They were there at homecoming. The colors for this game, it has been dubbed the Moat, Andrew. What to wear? Hard to explain. You got to see the diagram.
Yeah.
Half the stadium's in white, half is in black, and it's supposed to look like a moat. And I think you got to check out the picture.
I really, really hope they don't do this next year.
Don't get complicated with it.
It's one of my
Black,
least
gold.
favorite things.
Yeah.
I want to wear what I want to wear to the game. I've talked about this many other times. I love my new white jersey, though. I wear it more than
your
not.
Your section's the black, I think,
I know,
for the
but
moat
I'm
game.
still wearing my white jersey.
Looking around the American, couple of high-scoring games. Navy 42-40 over Tulsa. Cows 49-42 over Memphis. I watched the fourth quarter of that one. Boy, South Florida can move the ball. SMU 55-31 over East Carolina. Houston 30-18 over Tulane. Big games this week. Thursday night, number 6 Louisville. I think they've moved up now with all of the upsets, 2, 3, and 4 going down. They're at Houston Thursday night. This is a game where I root for the Cougars now. Memphis at Cincinnati. I guess if we need one of these teams to become bowl eligible, maybe we need Cincinnati to win. UConn's at Boston College. Temple is at Tulane. Navy at East Carolina. And go Mustangs as the Cows travel to Dallas to take on SMU. And we again need SMU to become bowl eligible. That's if UCF is talking about going to the Cure Bowl. But standings, Cows and Temple tied atop the East at 5-1. Temple holds the tiebreaker. UCF's 4-2. East Carolina, Cincinnati are 1-5. UConn 1-6. Pirates are out now. No chance for East Carolina to go to a bowl. In the West, Navy 5-1. Houston 5-2. Tulsa 4-2. Memphis and SMU 3-3 in the league. Tulane 0-6, no longer bowl eligible.
Well, I guess now we should move on to basketball a little bit because we need to talk about that. It's starting Monday night, November 14th, when Nickel State comes to the CFE Arena. First tip at 7 p.m. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is that time of year. We collide a little bit now with basketball as football season winds down. New head coach Johnny Dawkins, he has his work cut out for him. I like Jason asking, how did the Knights do last year? The Knights were...
before we were sitting here talking in between a little pause, and
they were 6-12 in the American, 12-18 overall. May have been a contributing factor to Donnie Jones no longer being head coach.
I think it was my tweets.
Yeah,
Fire Donnie Jones tweets that I gave after every game.
UCF picked preseason 8th every game. Message the same thing.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Dawkins molds this Knights team after replacing the fired Donnie Jones. Dawkins, of course, his resume is impressive. He spent the past 8 seasons at Stanford, put together 4 20-win seasons, 5 postseason appearances, 2 NIT titles. I think UCF fans would take 2 NIT titles in the next couple of years. And Dawkins is really ready to get things going with the Knights, as he talked about during media day before the start of the season.
I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to the start of the season. I know our players are as well. They've been working really hard. They started this spring, and I really think that they view this, and we all view it as a new beginning, and looking forward to getting started. So, if you guys, I'm sure, feel the same way. It's creeping up on all of us, and it's nice to start playing some other opponents. We've been playing ourselves, which has been very competitive. But it'll be good to face new competition and kind of see where we are. I think we have a real competitive bunch. I think we have a bunch that really do want to win. And that's a big part of the battle, is that sincerely wanting to go out there and compete to be successful. And our guys they've done that in practices, and they're doing that in the games.
Well, Dawkins is new. Going to be some new faces on the court as well. But the key to the Knights is going to be the play of redshirt sophomore guard B.J. Taylor. Orlando standout from Boone High. He missed the 2015-16 season with a foot injury, so they definitely want him back. Another key is going to be redshirt junior guard A.J. Davis. Now, injury bugs already bit the Knights before they have even tipped off. They're going to be out without Davis for at least a couple of weeks. He suffered a hand injury. UCF's going to need the leadership of senior Matt Williams.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
came out and said that he broke his hand. But
no surgery though.
Yeah, doesn't need surgery.
Couple of weeks.
So
couple of weeks.
That's not good for this team.
But of course, the big draw, if you head out to CFE Arena, all eyes going to be on our very tall Taco Fall, 7'6". 290-pound sophomore center, made a name for himself over at Liberty Christian Prep. He averaged 7.5 points, 2.33 blocks per game, nearly 18 minutes a game. That block number tied Taco for 27th nationally. So big key for UCF is got to get him more minutes.
I think in a couple of years, I don't think it's just like football. It's not going to happen overnight, although we're going to a bowl game. I have to say that again.
Yes, you do have to.
It's nice to be able to say that.
Yeah.
We've waited. Anyway, I think it's going to come for basketball. I don't think, obviously, it's going to be 1 year thing. I'm not expecting that. I think a couple recruiting classes through here, and then, but, we said that about football, too. So you never know. But Johnny Dawkins is the guy to do it if it can be done, I think.
And, athletic director Danny White, with the background that he has, hoops is very important to him, getting that right.
And it can be a huge revenue thing for UCF. It's an area that's really been untapped because that arena is nice. It holds a bunch of people. If there was the atmosphere for basketball as there is for football,
that'd be something else.
That would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
There's schools that that aren't just football schools. There's schools that have programs that do very well in, both.
And when UCF has had success, it has been rocking at that arena.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, it holds 10,000. And when they're loud, they're very loud. It's an exciting atmosphere. It's just they don't have a lot of depth. They just don't have a lot of depth. Now, maybe some of the, I don't know if you've seen the promo for the first game, some of the WWE Next superstars, maybe they'll be able to help. They're going to be at the Lobby CFE Arena Monday night, meet and greet with the fans. Look for them beginning at 6. I don't know if any of them have eligibility and can play.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an Orlando thing. The WWE has their NXT brand here. They do that at Full Sail. Which is pretty cool. So I think that's great. Whatever. They can't have a concert, they'll have some wrestlers.
Next best thing.
And if you go out there, I believe that the Light Up UCF thing is going on out there.
Is it started? Is it started now officially?
I think it has started.
Yeah, or Thanksgiving weekend maybe that starts. I'm not sure. We need to check that out, Jason.
And you know who's going to be able to do that for us? is our new basketball correspondent.
Absolutely. And
intern Jason has gotten promoted in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's good, though.
He's gotten promoted.
Jason is going to be our basketball man on the scene, and he is going to be here weekly.
Filing reports
and telling us about basketball. We are going to make it as well to as many games as we can.
Yep.
But a lot of them are in times that I work, so I will not be able to.
Yeah, with your schedule now,
we do actually have jobs because this. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So going back to the Light Up UCF, it says November 13th, which is today, through January 3rd.
Okay, yeah, so it started. So you can take your kids out there.
You can ice skate. You can see wrestlers.
You can ride on the Ferris wheel that they normally, or whatever they have out there normally.
Yeah. And they'll be playing basketball.
And it's a great little environment. I like it with the lights, and it'll get you in the Christmas season. It's coming. It's coming. Christmas is coming. I'm excited this year.
Taking a look at your Knightline planner. Women's basketball, we're going to talk about them in just a minute. They've gotten 2 games under their belt already, 2-0. They're going to hit the road at Davidson in North Carolina November 16th. Men's basketball is going to be on the road after this home opener against Mississippi State in Charleston, South Carolina, November 17th. Then the Knights will play, either Boise State or Charleston November 18th in a tournament. November 18th, glad to have this one back. Volleyball will be back home at Temple at 7 o'clock in the venue. I'll be out there for that. Women's basketball back home. Virginia Tech Saturday, November 19th at CFE. And then Senior Day for volleyball, home finale against UConn, November 20 at 1 o'clock at the venue. So that's a look at the week ahead on your Knightline planner.
And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. Women's basketball picks up a couple firsts for new head coach Abe. Her first win for the Knights, that was Thursday, 69-52 victory at FIU. And then Sunday, the Knights pick up their first home win of the season, 70-58 over South Alabama. UCF is 2-0 in women's basketball.
Good start for them. Volleyball sweeps Tulsa Saturday. That made up for being swept at league leader SMU the other night. UCF now 11-5 in the American, 21-8 overall. They're chasing SMU, Cincinnati, and Temple, so it's going to be tough for them to get into first, but it's been a really good year. Senior Jayla Hervey was the Americans' Offensive Player of the Week.
Redshirt senior Anna-Marie Blaney makes UCF history as the first Knight to win an NCAA South Region title in cross country. Blaney will represent UCF at the NCAA Championship in Terre Haute, Indiana on November 19th.
Men's soccer, the season ended in Tampa. Double overtime, 2-1 loss to the hated Cows in the American postseason tourney. Meantime, congrats to junior midfielder Matthias Pizzolo, who was named the American Offensive Player of the Year. Pizzolo was also named to the American All-Conference First Team, while freshman midfielder Brian Jamba named to the Americans All-Rookie Team.
Former Knights baseball standout Darnell Sweeney has been traded from the Phillies to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the club where he began his post-UCF career. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening. This has been episode number 88. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. He's
Jason Beatty.
Go Knights!
Charge on.
UCF Knights. UCF, let's go Knights. UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold charge right through the heart. Victory is our cry.